All right, so we're going to start this off by sending up big prayers to the St. Louis and Kentucky area, you know, Missouri and all that. You know, they suffered from a tragic tornado, a rare tornado called the E53. It's rare to hit the St. Louis area, you know, like in St. Louis and Kentucky in a whole, like 20 people died, 21 people, something like that. But in St. Louis, in general, 5 people died that I heard about so far. You know, they had a tragic tornado on the 16th last Friday, you know. And your boy Finesse 2Tymes, he popped out down there. And, you know, he gave out a whole bunch of goods. You know, he gave out bug spray. He bought a whole bunch of waters. He dropped a few bands at Walmart to help out. You know what I'm saying? Got them rakes and stuff to clean up the whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole area. You know, and they hit the trenches real hard. You know what I'm saying? He was out there in the trenches with his niggas. You know what I'm saying? But they hit the trenches real hard with that tornado, man.
Why the tornado always hit the trenches, though? I don't never hit no good part of it.
Yeah, why I don't never hit the suburbs, though?
That's what I be thinking about. I don't never hit
St. Louis going through it right now. It's crazy. You straight over here, little bro? I don't know. St. Louis feel extra homey. Feel like the house. Smell. That's crazy. Damn. Whole little apartment complex and burnt through. Came up this whole man.
We're in the Lou, man. Shout out to St. Louis, man. Shout out to St. Louis, man. We out here, man. Show love to them folks. Bro just cast out, brought them so much shit for the storm. We praying for St. Louis, praying for St. Louis, man. Mad love, man. We're in the Lou, man.
So damn, yeah, for real, like prayers for them. Prayers for STL. And you know, Sexyy Red, the St. Louis native herself, you know, she was down at ATL this past Monday. You know, she was down there with your girl Pluto. And you know, Pluto got this song called Wham Whammy. She talking about putting that Lulu on Lil Daddy. You know, they made the remix for it. You know, they brought the whole ATL out. You know what I'm saying? Showing love. You know, this song gonna be big. It's gonna give your girl Pluto a bigger buzz, you know. But Sexyy Red had to say this about the whole tornado situation. St. Louis, my heart is with you. I don't care what nobody say. This the city that made me who I am, so this is personal. I have major plans to help us out. I got us, period. Just be patient and please stay strong. Let me know what y'all need so I can help out for now. Pray for St. Louis, STL strong. And like I said, it's already well known that St. Louis is your girl Sexyy Red's home. You know, she just happened to be out of town while all that was going on. You know, thank God. You know, I'm sure she had some relatives affected by this situation. You know, but she had to go take care of some stuff and make that paper. You know, but she gonna make sure she take care of what's going on at STL a little later. You feel me? And you know, so we also got this whole ride wave thing going on. You know, where in April 21st, you know, he was at his house. He pulled up to his house with some realtors or something like that. And his house had got burglarized is what his lawyer is claiming, you know. And him and his ex-acquaintance or whatever girl he was dealing with, you know, his girlfriend, I'm pretty sure he had some strong feelings for whoever it was for him to try to pull out a gun allegedly and shoot at him. That's what they saying, you know. But they saying they got to arguing. The neighbors, I guess, called the police, called the authorities. And, you know, they was outside arguing in the yard, you know. And the neighbors called the police. And your boy Rod Wave allegedly, you know, he allegedly shot like 14 rounds. It went down with a Glock 20, a 10mm Glock 20. He shot plenty, you feel me? So he shot like 14 rounds allegedly. 11 rounds hit her G-Wagon. She had like a gold G-Wagon. 11 rounds hit hers. 1 round hit his Rolls Royce. And 1 round hit the wall. And another round is missing. According to authorities. I don't know how they know. No, he fired 14 shots. And one of the rounds is missing. They can't find it. So I don't know how they know. Somehow they say he fired 14 shots. But they're trying to hit your boy with 14 charges. You know, the authorities trying to hit him with 14 charges. So he was arrested yesterday. And, you know, since then, he been released on $50,000 bond. And, you know, speaking of bonds, your boy Chris Brown just made a $6.7 million bond overseas, you know, for allegedly smashing a bottle over somebody's head. But, you know, your boy Chris Brown responded like the show must go on. But back to this Rod Wave case. So he got like 14 charges. Aggravated assault, possession of a firearm or knife during commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies, pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at another, reckless conduct, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, tampering with evidence, possession of firearm or knife during commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies, simple assault. You know, that's just some of the charges. You know, he left that night on April 21st when the police was called, you know what I'm saying, when he found that the police was on the way, you know what I'm saying, he got out of the way immediately. He left. So that's probably why they doing like tampering with evidence and obstruction of justice. And they trying to say, let me see. He also, he broke his court order, his bond or whatever, from October 2020 battery charge. So he messed up his bond on that with this whole new charge he got. But, you know, they had a warrant out for his arrest and they arrested him yesterday. He was released on $50,000 bond. And he also has a history of, domestic assault when he allegedly choked his girlfriend in 2022. And then in 2024, he was arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You know, so he got a history of trouble. And he also got new charges of aggravated assault, 2nd count of possession of firearm during an attempt to commit certain felonies, a 2nd count of reckless conduct. You know what I'm saying? Like, the charges just piling up on your boy. And Summer Walker, she really felt some kind of way about this situation. You know, she locked in with Sexyy, they homegirls. But, you know, but her as being a woman, she felt some kind of way about your boy Rod Wave, you know, doing something to this lady, you know, like allegedly. You know what I'm saying? And this is what your girl Summer Walker had to say. Every day, I'm really getting sick of the extreme hate within the black community amongst each other as women, but especially from our supposed to be protectors, providers, leaders of the household. Y'all supposed to be our safe space. Damn. This is why every other race think we a joke. So, you know, Summer Walker, you know, she hot, you know, because I'm pretty sure she'd have been through some kind of shit with dudes, dealing with dudes, you know, dudes in general, not only in the hood, but of any race. You know, we get frustrated when we arguing with our females. You know, I personally don't like to put my hands on females. You know, we got mothers that been abused, you know, but still some dudes, even if their mother been abused, they still see things different. You know, sometimes a woman can push men to their limit. You know, sometimes it's best to just walk away. You know, it's a lot of pain in Rod Wave's music. So, you know, he got a lot of pain that he got to deal with because he's going through shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of dudes like to put their hands on females, and Summer Walker's, you know what I'm saying, 9 times out of 10, a woman done been through that, especially coming from the hood. You know, she was dealing with Rico Reckless. Her and Rico Reckless now broke up, you know, but, you know, Summer Walker really felt some kind of way about what's going on with Rod Wave. I guess she believed that Rod Wave really did something because he got a history of doing something to women. You know, he allegedly strangled his ex-girl, you know, and according to the police reports, they're trying to say that he busted some shots at this girl's car, and some people trying to say he was trying to shoot her. But, you know, Rod Wave came home, I guess on May 21st, he tried to come home Or no, not May 21st. It was sometimes yesterday, May 20th. He tried to go home, and the police came and got him. You know, but he bonded out now. But you know, him and his lawyer trying to play it like, you know, I don't know if it's true or not, but they're trying to play it like, you know, this stuff, his home was burglarized, you know, with stuff all over the house, you know, like a broken vase and a broken window and all kind of shit, you know. But your boy Rod Wave is accused of shooting at his girl, you know, and you know, Summer Walker has every right to say what she had to say if you really feel like you really did that. But you also got to give Rod Wave the benefit of the doubt, because who knows if you really shot at her. You know, Young Buck was just locked up, you know what I'm saying, for his girlfriend shooting at him. You know, he was locked up for that. The police tried to say it was his gun, you know, but she even told the police it was her gun. She got it out of her personal safe. And Young Buck got arrested anyway for his girlfriend shooting at him, you know. So you never know what really went on. Maybe the house really did get burglarized. Maybe that's why it was so messed up when Rod Wave came home and the police was there. Or maybe, you know, your boy Rod Wave and his girlfriend was arguing. They got to talk some stuff around. You know, maybe he found out something about her, you know, or, you know, sometimes females will pick at you and try to push you to hit them. But, you know, it's kind of hard to resist it. But the best thing to do if y'all arguing that much is to leave the relationship alone and go get counseling, you know, or move up out that home until she leaves. And sometimes as a man, you might have to call the police to get her to leave if she at your crib, you know, or if y'all sharing both of y'all names on the paperwork or whatever. Maybe you know what I'm saying, it's best to get the police to get her to leave because y'all arguing. You ain't got to press charges. You just got to be like, or if you don't want to call the police because you don't want to look like no snitch, you know what I'm saying, what I would do, I would just leave until things calm down and come back around, you know, and get my things out the house, or, you know, make sure she leave the house, you know. But, you know, if y'all constantly arguing all the time to where y'all having domestic disputes, especially to the point where you feel like you got to shoot, you know, you got to leave that relationship alone, man. And if you got anger issues, which you can tell in Rod Wave's music, he got a lot of anger issues built up in him. You know, he got a lot of emotional stuff going on. He makes very sad music, you know, but the world loves to listen to it. There's so many millions and millions of Rod Wave fans. He's breaking records and, you know what I'm saying, doing the same thing, doing numbers like Taylor Swift off this sad music, selling out arenas year after year. A lot of people, he got a lot of big fans. He can mess all that up off of his anger and insecurities and feeling like he got to do something to a woman. Whether or not it's true, you know, there might be some truth to it because he got charges from back in the day, going back at least 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The 2 years after that, you know, of him doing some kind of, you know what I'm saying, violent crimes and with a woman being involved, allegedly, you know. So, you know, he really needs counseling if he wants to keep his music thing going right. You know, he got a lot to lose. He got a lot to live for. I'm sure he got children. He got an awesome career. You know, he got to keep that going. So the best thing for him to do, if he ain't done it already, is to get counseling. He really needs some help. Might need some medicine. You know what I'm saying? I ain't on here to down him. I ain't downing him. I don't get on here and down nobody. I just keep it 100% real. You know, that's how we live. You know, but you know, prayers with Rod Wave and his family. You know, hope they make it through this and get stronger. You know, maybe they can work it out. You ain't always got to leave, but sometimes, most of the time, that's the best thing to do. If you constantly arguing and get to the point where y'all might fight and get physical, sometimes it's best to just leave the relationship alone. There's plenty of women out here that want them. There's plenty of women is willing to get with them, you know, so he ain't got to stay single. But I think the best thing for him to do is just to work on himself, his mental health. You know what I'm saying? See if he can need some medicine prescribed, because, you know, there's a lot of pain and you can hear it in his music and see it in his eyes. I appreciate all y'all for subscribing. If you ain't already hit that like button, you know, hit that notification bell so you know every time I drop a video. You know, and check out this merch. Hit the link in the description. Get some of that Generation Viral merch. Get you a hat, a hoodie, a beanie, a jacket, or a shirt. You know, Generation Viral. You know, a lot of people out here living and dying to go viral. You know, you sit on social media all day long, on the internet all day long, trying to see what's going on with everybody else, and also trying to see what's going viral. Like people literally would do anything to go viral. People out here telling, you know, act like they'll tell on somebody to go viral, like Charleston White, for instance. You know, you got your boy Taki Willis, Hustle Cartel. You know, he act like he snitched on Charleston White to go viral. Your boy Stan G, you know, he went out on a limb and said he told on Hustle Cartel. You know, and a lot of them things. You know, I rock with all them guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with everything that they say and do, but you know, I rock with all them guys, and you know, some of the stuff they do is real as hell. You know, but they just prove, you know, these days people would do anything to go viral. You know, people do all kind of shit on the internet. Y'all be on the internet, y'all know how it is. People that do anything to go viral out here. So I feel like this is the viral generation. You know, people do anything to go viral, and it's kind of sickening. You know, and you can love it or you can hate it or you can get with it. So go ahead and tap in, hit that link in the description, and get some of this merch. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and make you a purchase, man. And you also got we got the all kind of options to choose from. You know, I'm big on God. We got the Crisis Therapeutic t-shirts. The mugs going hard, you know. That's like my favorite one, because, you know, Crisis Therapeutic. If you don't want to go to an actual counselor and get some help, you know what I'm saying? Just stay big on God, read the Bible. You know, read devotionals, pray a couple times a day, and, you know, go hard on God. It's like the best way. You know, it helped me out a lot through my mental health challenges and a lot of trauma I got going on in my life personally. You know, I couldn't get through it and be doing what I'm doing continually without God. You know, God got me out here going hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making a living off of this right here, this Trap Tube TV business, this social media, you know, and I don't even like, if I ain't doing it for business purposes, I don't even like getting on social media. Like when I was doing my music, I wouldn't even get on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, only time I get on social media is when I'm trying to promote a business or try to do some kind of business or something. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta stay on social media now to provide this content to y'all. You know, it's not unfortunate. You know, I just gotta deal with it. You know, and build with it. You know, if you're gonna be on social media scrolling all day, you might as well try to make a meal with it. You feel me? But you know, yeah, so I got this merch, man. Hit the link in the description. Go ahead and purchase you some merch, man. I ain't only got the generation viral. You know, I got this in all kind of different colors, shapes, you know what I'm saying, sizes, long sleeve, short sleeve, hoodies, crop tops, tank tops, you know what I'm saying, hats, beanies, you know what I'm saying, jogging pants, workout shirts. Also, I got God got me out the trap shirts, t-shirts. Them mugs hard. This is one of my favorite ones. Man, I got so much, man. So much merch, man. Y'all need to purchase and get with the movement, man. It's all positive. You know what I'm saying? I come from you know what I'm saying, a challenge background. You know, I was really in the streets like it. So, you know, this right here, this merch, church, and, you know, and this blogging, you know what I'm saying, this media stuff is keeping me out the streets, because I was really in there knee deep like for years, you know. I done did a little bit, like, show the Lord, I done it all, and I love the ball. So, you know, me being a hustler, I took it like, okay, instead of just being on social media all day, why don't I, you know what I'm saying, be my own blogger, you know what I'm saying? Why don't I make my own content? Because people making money off this shit, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one day I can get rich, you know, I'm making a living, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to feed my family and do amazing things with my children, you know what I'm saying? Off of doing content. So if you know what I'm saying, you like to talk, you know what I'm saying, or you look attractive and you want to, you know what I'm saying, promote something, it'll help you build your music career. You know what I'm saying? If you do music, keep putting that shit out, you know, put that shit out on all platforms, you know, on streaming platforms, on Instagram, on TikTok, you know what I'm saying? Keep pushing, don't give up. You got to keep pushing. You can do it, you can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about starting back rapping. I started this channel off being a rapper. I was a rapper at first. You know what I'm saying? I started getting a little older, and I was like, man, you know, and I was going through life, you know what I'm saying, some challenges in my life, so I had to let it go. You know, I'm thinking about starting back again, because I swear I'm killing these niggas on these microphones, man. I'm telling you. Like, you know, I don't care how old I am, you know, I feel like I might have to go ahead and pop back out on their music. So if I do drop some music, man, y'all make sure y'all support that. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all dudes out there like to wear ball caps. Go ahead and get you a ball cap, get you a guide. God got me out the trap hat, a generation viral hat, you know what I'm saying, a crisis therapeutic. Man, I got plenty of merch for y'all, man. I'm talking about different colors, man. It's fly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying, for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Supporting a good cause, man. Keep your boy out the streets. You know what I'm saying? Staying away from them laws, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm all about, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing something repping for God. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? It ain't all about the worldly things and the flesh. You know what I'm saying? God is what's best. You know, I'm not perfect at all. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm serving a higher power every day, every hour, every minute, every second. You know what I'm saying? The big God, the big Lord Jesus Christ, that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all tap in for real, because it's all real over here. You feel me? Like, you know, everybody got their flaws. Everybody done lied before. Everybody done capped. You know what I'm saying? Everybody done messed up. Everybody done fell off. Everybody gonna bounce back. You know what I'm saying? You just can't give up. You gotta keep trying to make it happen, you know? Like, I wasn't even finna make this video at first. It probably ain't gonna do numbers, because this kind of content don't really do the biggest numbers on my channel. But, you know, but I'm gonna try to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I had to get up, you know what I'm saying, get it in. You know, I wake up at 3 in the morning every day, go to the gym. So, you know, when I come home, I'm tired as hell. You know, so I be like, man, I gotta make a video, make that mail, make that paper, make my pockets swell. But, you know, yeah, most of the time, if it's gonna do good or not, I can't tell. You know, but if you do a crime, do the time. Don't tell on nobody. You know, if you got you know what I'm saying, certain situations you might have to cooperate with police. You know what I'm saying? But if you go out there do a crime with somebody, you know, and you get caught, don't tell on nobody so you can, you know what I'm saying, get your time cut. You know what I'm saying? You like, nah, you know what I'm saying? That ain't real at all. You know what I'm saying? It's super flawed. You know what I'm saying? If you out there doing something, man, be ready to do the time for it. If you ain't ready to do the time for it, just slow down, boy. Like, for real, you gotta chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm coming like this with no deal. You know, just all real, off the top of the head. You know, because in these streets, you either gonna go to jail, be stuck in prison, you know what I'm saying, to end up dead, you know, and you don't want to live like that. I know a lot of y'all come from challenging backgrounds also, you know, products of your environment, or got friends that's running wild, and or you feel like you got to protect yourself, you know what I'm saying, protect yourself at all costs, you know what I'm saying. But if somebody want to squabble, just squabble. Put them hands up and, you know what I'm saying, try to knock his head off. But, you know, you ain't got to be worried about getting embarrassed and pulling out no gun, because you're only going to be embarrassed for the time being. You know, people going to joke and try to maybe record it and upload it of you getting whooped. But, you know, all this shit is temporary. You know, don't be out here super scary. You know, a lot of people shoot niggas because they scared. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to see the other person dead, you know. But just stay out the way, man, to get paid. You know what I'm saying? That's the best advice I could give you. Like, back in my day, you know what I'm saying, I wish I would have did the right thing. I wish I wasn't so big on trying to run the streets all day, you know what I'm saying, and be in the streets with the guys, you know what I'm saying, and hopping on the girls with the pretty thighs, you know what I'm saying. Like, get you a woman, man, and stay down. Like, you know what I'm saying, I messed up things with women that could potentially be with them for the rest of my life, because I wanted to be out there on shites, being trifling, you know what I'm saying. Trying to be the biggest street cat out there, you know what I'm saying, and you know, I did my thing, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like I was the biggest, you know what I'm saying, but you know, I ain't do it the biggest, you know what I'm saying, because it ain't all about who breads the longest, it's about who can stay out on the street the longest, like Jesus said it best. But that's enough, you know what I'm saying. I'm about to go see if I can find some more content for y'all. If not, I'm give me some rest, because I'm tired as hell, and I ain't lying at all, as you can tell. But peace out, I'll get y'all in the next video.